Thank you so much for joining me. We are talking about the days of creation. How long were they? Were they six literal 24-hour days, or were they something longer, like expanses of time, gap theory ideas, and things like that? So, today we're going to be focusing on the Bible side to it. There's a lot of actual science with it too. We're not going to get too into that stuff today. If you're interested, let me know. We'll do another video focusing on the science side to it. But we're going to read something here. This is about how long, how long were the days. This is by Terry Morrison from Answers in Genesis. Did God create the whole universe, including the original plants, animals, and first two people, Adam and Eve, in six literal 24-hour days? Or did he take time, or did creation take place over millions of years? When we look carefully at Genesis 1 in Hebrew, or even in English, it is clear that God created everything in six literal days, 24-hour days. However, first, we are told that he created the earth in darkness and then created light, verses 2 and 3. Then he called the light day and he called the darkness night. And he said this, and then he said in Hebrew language, the original, and there was evening and there was morning, day one. He repeated the same statement at the end of the second day through the sixth day. Everywhere else in the Old Testament, when the Hebrew word for day, or yom, appears, evening or morning, it is modified by a number, 6 day, 5 days, things like that. It always means a 24-hour day. On day 4, God further showed us that there were literal days by telling us the purpose for which he created the sun, the moon, the stars, so that we could tell time, literal years, literal seasons, and literal days. Then the most earth-shaking one of all, and I've heard this one for years, it's actually God wrote it in stone for us to know. And it was in the Ten Commandments. And he wrote it twice in stone, carved it. That creation, it's talking about the Sabbath day rest. And he said, just as creation, as the earth was made in 6 days, the word used is a literal day, 24 hours, just as the earth was made in 6 days, and then God rested, so you should rest on the 7th day. God was talking about 6 literal days. In Hebrew culture, it all records they thought of this as a literal time. In the New Testament times, they also thought of this. So interesting. I'd love to hear from you guys watching. What do you think? Was this 6 literal days? Just write in the comments, literal, if you think literal, or if you think long, right, literal, or 24-hour. That's even better. Just write the number 24 if you think there were 24-hour days, or write long if you think they were longer. And today, just talking about it from a biblical sense, does the Bible seem to indicate these were 24-hour days or longer? At a different time, we'll talk about, if you're interested, write in the comments science, if you're interested in the science behind it, because there's lots of actual science. When you think of, I'll brush on one of them, the moon, the rotation of the moon as it goes around the earth, it is actually gaining distance. So the moon is getting further from the earth every year as it rotates. It's small. But if you rewind and look at its trajectory of how much it's actually been getting further away from the earth, if you actually rewind it, 6,000 years, then it would be a bit closer to the earth. But if you rewind it millions of years, it would be inside the earth. It would never have been separated like it is. So many things like that science actually shows there's so much of an issue with millions and billions of years. They don't solve any problem. It's funny how many atheists will say it's called the God of the gaps. You guys have you ever heard that? Just say yes if you've heard that. Yes in the comments. I've heard the God of the gaps. That when we don't understand things as Christians, we'll just say, well, God did it, right? God of the gaps. Well, evolutionists have a similar type thing where they have time of the gaps. If they can't figure out how this could happen, because all science says it shouldn't have happened in the amount of time. When I was a kid, they were saying this was millions of years old. Now they're saying billions. I'm not that old, guys. But the point is, if they can't figure it out or define it in the amount of time that they currently have, they'll just tack on more time. Therefore, it's the time of the gaps. So, because science is telling them that millions of years is not enough, that even 1 billion years is not enough, so they add more time, and then they do this scientific, it's so unreasonable. They say we can't, they put it on in such a way we can't even test it. Most of the things that I speak of with creation and with intelligent design and God creating it, it's testable, repeatable things. Like picture a painting. Picture the Mona Lisa. Did any of you see it get painted? I don't think so. But do we all think it had a painter? Right? Painter in the comments if you think it had a painter. Of course the Mona Lisa had a painter. We don't know for sure who he was, but because the painting exists, we know there was a painter. The paints didn't just squiggle around to do it. The Golden Gate Bridge, we know it had a builder, a designer, a maker, because it exists. It didn't just happen on its own. Creation is so amazing, so complex. Information, I'll get right to you, Nick. Information is amazingly complex, and evolution doesn't even touch how information could evolve and become more and more complex. So let's see what Nick says. Can you give a shout out to my friend Nick Barkin? It's his birthday today, and he's a big fan. Nick, that is awesome. Happy birthday, Nick. If you're a fan of the channel, praise God. Thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, guys. Thank you for subscribing. And today we're talking all about the 24 hours. Were the days of creation 24-hour, literal 24-hour days? Such an amazing thing to think about. And the Bible is very clear. It's saying that they're 24 hours. And the biggest proof is actually in the Ten Commandments, where God, it's not in Genesis, it's in Exodus, where God himself wrote this down for us, carved it in stone twice. And it was referring to, it said, God made the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and on the seventh day rested. There's no way you could force that to become larger, thousands of year times or something like. No, he was referring to 6 literal days. And then on the 7th literal day, he rested. And he said we should do the same. And so, well, we don't do thousands of years. We do a 7-day week because that's how God started it. Now, think of the very first verse of the Bible. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. If that is true, if we are going to agree to that, and honestly, we're not going to get too into it, but yes, science even agrees with that. Science says that yes, the universe, Einstein was the first big guy to get into this. He said the universe, space, time, and matter all came into being at the same exact moment, the same exact point, which obviously means someone outside of space, time, and matter had to step in and make them. So when you think of a spaceless, no outer space, no place to put it. Timeless. The concept of time hadn't been made. So he's spaceless, timeless, immaterial. There's no matter to him. Spaceless, timeless, immaterial, intelligent because of all of the vast information we have. Intelligent, powerful because of the amount of energy and power in our universe. Spaceless, timeless, immaterial, powerful, intelligent, personal, because it takes a person to choose to create. When you think of this, who do you think of? Well, most of us call him God. Science would even say that yes, someone in those qualities had to step in to make the universe. They just don't like to bow their knee to God actually making the universe. It's an important thing to realize. And many people on the evolutionary side will say, well, we don't even go there because evolution doesn't get to the beginning. But think of it scientifically. We need to actually realize, don't put your faith, because it is faith, into evolution, because it's not seen. You'll never see it. You'll never be able to take it to a lab and test it. Whereas we can take to the lab and test every single day, millions of times, that it takes intelligence to make something that is intelligent. Picture your smartphone. Could you just sit down and make it? No, probably not. It took a bunch of really, really smart people to put things together, to build them. In medicine, we are trying desperately, and in science, to clone human beings, to make the eyeball, to do all this stuff scientifically and medically, but it falls short so much. But it proves that there was a intelligent creator behind it, because with our most intelligent people, we can barely do anything. We can barely scratch the surface when it comes to these things. So I want to encourage you guys, actually take an open mind when you're thinking about these things. It would appear that the Bible is actually telling us that creation happened in 7 literal days, or 6 days of creation, 1 of resting. Science would actually point to an intelligent designer creating it. Now, if Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, if that is true, just like we're pointing to the evidence behind it, if that's true, Dustin saying true, yes, awesome. If that is true, then the rest of the Bible can easily be true. Jonah swallowed by a great fish. If this being stepped in with all this power, all this intelligence, he stepped in from the outside, of course he could have done that. Of course he could have spoken it into creation in 6 literal 24-hour days, as the Bible said. So easy. Have faith in this immense God that's so much beyond us. Have faith and trust in him. Sure, don't close your mind. Dig deep. But as you dig deep, the amazing thing is you'll find God sitting there. God's sitting there at the bottom of all of this. So I want to encourage you guys, get into your Bible today. Find out how true it is. Subscribe to my channel. I'm putting out a bunch of videos. We're going through daily devotions. We're talking about apologetics a lot. There's over 1,100 videos on my channel right now, mostly teaching the Bible and apologetic type stuff. So please check it out. Please like this video. It actually pushes it out with the algorithm. It pushes it out to more people, so more people can actually experience this. And yeah, Dustin, another guy saying happy birthday to Nick. Such an awesome that you joined us, and that you're asking for a shout out for your friend for his birthday. That is awesome. So I encourage you guys, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and let's see what God's going to do today. What does the word, Dustin's asking, what does the word apologetics mean? Great question. It sounds like I'm saying an apology, right? It's not that. It's actually, it comes from, in the Bible, I think it is around Titus or something like that, where it actually says in the New Testament, it says, always be ready to give an account for the faith that lies within you. Apologetic is giving an account for your faith. It is saying, these are the reasons I have faith in God. These are the reasons. And so I want to encourage you guys, Study them. Study them with me. That would be awesome. Study them with other people. Get to know why you believe what you believe. Not just a blind faith, but actually have confidence that God is who he said he was. There is truth in science. There's truth in history. There's truth in archaeology, all pointing to the fact that Jesus Christ is God and that he really rose from the dead and that God created everything. We can have faith and confidence in him. So that's my encouragement to you guys today. Again, Nick, specifically Nick Barkin, happy birthday, bro. Thank you so much for joining us. And to everyone, have a great day. God bless you guys. I sure love you.